Henry was having trouble getting his trucks to behave. They bumped and squealed as he dragged them to the quarry for Mavis and Toby. The troublesome trucks didn't want to be filled up with scratchy stones, and they wouldn't let Henry forget it. But Henry knew his difficult journey was nearly over when he heard the ring of his friend's bell. "Hello, Toby." At the quarry, things were very disorganized. Mavis was squabbling with some trucks, and Toby was nowhere to be seen. "You were behind with your work, Mavis," said Henry's driver. "Never mind, I'm sure Toby will be here soon."
I expect so,
sulked Mavis, who didn't like Toby helping her all the time. She wanted to do things on her own.
Toby's an old fuzzpod,
she said, bumping a line of trucks crossly. She didn't want Henry's help either, so he returned to the station yard, glad to leave the mess behind. The next morning, it was Edward's turn to take the empty trucks to the quarry. He was looking forward to seeing his old friend Toby. As Edward steamed carefully along the outlying quarry line, he heard the ring of Toby's bell.
"Hello, Toby,"
he called, but Edward didn't get a reply. When Edward arrived at the quarry, he had never seen such a mess. Mavis was bumping the trucks so hard that they were refusing to work.
"Toby will help you,"
said Edward kindly.
"Oh, I don't want his help,"
snapped Mavis.
"I can do it on my own."
"Where is Toby?"
asked Edward.
"Oh, somewhere I expect,"
replied Mavis. "Wherever he is, it must be important for him to leave you in this mess," said Edward's driver.
"I'm not in a mess,"
said Mavis as she bumped the truck so hard it collapsed, sending white chalky dust everywhere. That afternoon, Thomas waited for Mavis to bring loaded trucks down to the station, but they didn't arrive. Thomas's driver spoke with the Fat Controller. "There must be something horribly wrong," he said. The Fat Controller was very concerned and decided to go to the quarry himself. Thomas took him right away. On the way, they heard Toby's bell ring.
"Stop here, please,"
said the Fat Controller.
"I'd like to check that Toby isn't in trouble."
The Fat Controller was surprised by what he saw on the other side of the edge. It was a big cow wearing a bell around her neck. They carried on to the quarry, and there they found Mavis surrounded by derailed trucks and covered in dust. She didn't expect a visit from the Fat Controller.
"What on earth?"
he cried.
"Where is Toby?"
Poor Mavis was so fed up, she began to cry.
"I haven't seen him all day,"
she sniffed.
"Well, you should have told someone,"
said the Fat Controller more kindly. He was not cross with Mavis now, because he could see she was sorry. Thomas took the Fat Controller to Toby's shed, and inside stood poor Toby with a broken wheel. "I was wondering when someone would find me," said Toby.
"We thought we heard your bell,"
said Thomas.
"but it was a cow."
The Fat Controller agreed that when Toby's wheel was mended, he would give him a brand new bell so that they would always recognize him. The engines on the Little Western were getting overworked. So Sir Topham had asked for Wilbert to help out. But you already know how his stories went, don't you? A week went by, and the engines were beginning to feel a little less stressed.
Bob, like boilers, it's hot.
Aye.
Young Wilbert has been a great help, even though he tried to drink some milk.
Just then, Oliver puffed in with a different-looking brake van. Oi, where's young Toad at?
Oh, I'm just using this new brake van for the time.
But what about Toad?
He'll be fine, it's only for a week.
Toad did not take the news well. He spotted Douglas, who pulled up right beside him. Do you think if Mr. Oliver has another brake van, he won't want me anymore? And Oliver says you don't have attachment issues.
Shush, Douglas. No, Toad. Oliver's just testing out a new brake van.
Really? No, he's trying to replace you.
Douglas!
Alright, I was joking. Jeez.
Oh, no, you don't.
If you say so.
Oh, never mind. Let's just keep going so I can get rid of you lot.
The brake van was no help at all. It had bad brakes that would slip on. Soon Oliver approached Wellsworth and climbed Gordon's Hill. The brake van's brakes suddenly came on.
Break it! Snap it! Eat it!
The truck's wishes were commanded as Oliver's coupling broke. Oh dear.
See, Toad? I told you Oliver's not going to replace you.
I guess you were right, Mr. Duck. I had nothing to be worried about.
Yep.
Oh, so you also killed the brake van? A strong wind had been blowing all day on the island of Sildor, and at night it grew worse still. The next morning, Sir Topham Hatt was eating toast and marmalade for breakfast when his wife came in. "Oh, Topham, my dear," she sighed. "There's been slate blown off the roof of the house in the night."
I'll get someone to replace him, my dear.
He promised.
No use until the scale is jarred down, for they'll blow off as fast as they're put on.
At the sheds, the engines had been teasing James. They were remembering the time he had been spun around and around on the turntable, and he had to wait for the wind to drop before he could be rescued. "Be careful, James," chuckled Henry. "Mind you don't go on any turntables today." James was indignant.
Care for yourself, Henry. Make sure you don't need to stick in tunnels when you need to take shelter.
Henry didn't care a bit, and the other engines laughed as they went to collect their trains at the station. Henry's first stop was at the station before the viaduct. "Be careful, Henry," the station master warned him. "The wind on the viaduct is very fierce today." But Henry was lucky. The wind dropped for just a few moments at just the right time, and he brought his train safely over. The station beyond was an exposed place too. Henry knew this, but was so pleased that he crossed the viaduct that he forgot. "Fancy worrying about a bit of wind," he said to himself. "Now I got no more stops into the workstation. That's one in the buffers for silly little James." As he rattled through the station, he saw something that made him whistle shrilly in horror. A few hundred yards in front, a tree was suddenly uprooted by the gale and crashed across the line. Groaned Henry, and his driver slammed the brakes on hard. Henry skidded along the rails, coming closer and closer to the tree. He shut his eyes and waited for the impact. Nothing happened. Henry slowly opened his eyes and looked again, to find that he had stopped inches away from the tree. Phew, he thought to himself, and let off steam with relief as the guard came running to see what was the matter. Henry pushed the coaches back to the station, and when the passengers found out what had happened, they came to thank Henry for preventing a nasty accident.
Well done, Henry.
Said James when he found out.
Perhaps it's useful to be able to stick when you need it after all.
While the engines have no trouble keeping on time, the roads, however, aren't so lucky, as poor Bertie found out.
10 minutes late, Bertie. Care to explain?
Sorry, Thomas. I have a new driver, and let's say he's a bit of a handful.
Whatever do you mean?
Let's just say he has a bit of a temper.
Oh, well, let's hope he fixes that soon. I can't always be late, you know. I have a branch line to keep up with. Goodbye, Bertie.
The next morning, Bertie was out on the road again. As Bertie rounded the bend, he saw Terence. Hello, Terence. But before Terence could speak a word, they both heard honking, and it was from Bertie.
Goodness gracious!
Sorry, wow! Bertie quickly jolted to the side and around Terence.
Oh Lord! Bertie, what are you playing at?
It's not me! It's my driver! And with that, Bertie was out of sight. Down the line, there's a small crossing where engines and cars pass. Bertie's driver was still in rage mode and didn't hear Henry's whistle. Bertie, slow down! I can't! Both engine and bus braced for impact. Then Bertie felt a swerve. Whoa! The new driver realized Henry was approaching and swerved Bertie into a bush. Luckily, no one was hurt. Later, Sir Topham Hatt spoke to them.
That was really reckless of you. You could have injured your passengers, and you could have killed Bertie and Henry's crew. It seems that bushwork is not for you, so I'm blacklisting you from driving bushes again.
I understand, sir.
The next day, Bertie was nowhere to be seen.
I wonder what's the holdup. Bertie?
Just then, a blue bus appeared.
You're not Bertie.
Never said I was. Now off you go. Don't you have a line to run with? Thomas was confused, but this wouldn't be the last we saw of Algie. But that's another story. The bluebells are coming, oh, oh, the bluebells are coming, oh. If you must sing, Percy, grumbled Douglas, can't ya sing in tune? Anyway, our song's about Campbells, and mine's about bluebells, and it's daft. Bluebells are flowers. Flowers can't come, they grow. My song isn't daft. Percy was indignant. It is then. I can find about bluebells. We have a song called The Bluebells of Scotland. But, said Percy triumphantly, the bluebells of England are different. They're engines, and one of them's coming here with his controller. Didn't you listen, he went on severely, to the fat controller telling us about it? I was away. Oh dear, I couldn't understand it, but all the engines on the other railway aren't safe now. Their controllers are cruel. They don't like engines anymore. They put them on cold, damp sidings, and then... Percy nearly sobbed. I cut them up. You're right there, agreed Douglas. If I hadn't escaped, I'm cut up too. It's all because of these young diesels. They're all devils, he added fiercely. Fair play, Douglas, reminded Percy. Some are nice. Look at Rusty and Daisy. Maybe so, answered Douglas. I'd never trust one myself, but what I cannot understand is all your battle about bluebells. The bluebells are kind people who want to save engines. They made a place in England called the Bluebell Railway. Engines can escape there and be safe. Like me running away here. Yes, Percy went on, just like that. If they are old or ill, a fitter makes them well. They can have their own special colors, all the coal and water they need, and pull trains too. That's braw hearing, said Douglas with feeling. The fat controller says Stepney was the first engine to escape there, so he's asked him to visit us and bring his controller. But, objected Douglas, how about young Diesels? Might they catch him on the way? We thought so too, said Percy, but the fat controller says there's no danger of that. Stepney's a match for any Diesel. Besides, his controller will take care of him. Och, he's a brave engine for all that, said Douglas admiringly. Fancy fighting his way for all those Diesels just to see us. Look, squeaked Percy, the station's crowded. Silly, how can I look unless I be a corkscrew? Why have they all come? There's no train. But Percy was wrong. The signal dropped, and from far away, an engine whistled. Here he comes, yelled Douglas. The two engines whistled excitedly in welcome, replied Stepney, as the passengers and people waving and cheering. He puffed proudly through the junction on his last stage of his last long journey.
Trucks and hauling freight. Hey! 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 Red and green and brown and blue, they're the really useful crew. Down the hills and round the bends, Thomas and his friends. Hey! 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 Thomas, he's a cheeky one, he's lame but lots of fun. Pulls the mail on time. Knows her stuff. Toots and huffs and puffs. Furthers down the line. Edward wants to help and share. Toby, well, let's say he's square. They're two, they're four, they're six, they're eight. Shunting trucks and hauling freight. friends.